right, let's get into it. Ink and Echo, episode 50. Ooh, the golden years. Holy smokes. Ink and a rink a rink a dink, echo a rink a doo. I love you, listeners. Ink and a rink a dink, echo a rink a doo. I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening underneath the moon. Ink and a rink a dink, echo a rink a doo. I love you. Shoo-doop, shoo-doop, shoo-doop. Ba, ba, ba. Holy smokes, 50 episodes. Can you believe it? It's been almost a year. On August 1 of 2017, it will have been 1 year. If you're curious where the counterpart is, by the way, I'm Josh Gaines. And if you're wondering where Andy Othling is, he had other stuff going on today, but I assure you 97% that he will be back next week for episode 51. And he'll be presumably back on from there on, but he had other stuff going on today. It's a Sunday. It's July. It doesn't matter what date it is. Hey, let me tell you this. We have got a new patron to thank right off the bat, Mr. David Shea. David, thank you ever so much for pledging your support monthly to Ink and Echo, the podcast. And the place that David is now giving us $5 a month is called patreon.com, which is sort of like an ongoing subscription / Kickstarter sort of thing where people, listeners, fans of this show pledge either $1 or $5 or $10 or any amount. You can make it up each and every month, and you can stop it at any time. But this is in exchange for exclusive content, bonus episodes or snippets or little behind the scenes peeks into the show. Or if you just like us enough and you want to give to what we do, you can do it that way. And that helps Andy and I out immensely, just in covering the costs for our show and helping us to update equipment and sort of relieves some tension on our personal pocketbooks. So thank you to all of our patrons who are giving already. And if you're interested in doing the same, please go to inkandecho.com/Patreon or alternate URL, patreon.com/inkandecho. Thank you so much. Well, guys, I'll tell you, thank you so much to everyone. I mean, last week's episode was a humdinger, you might say. We got a lot of, it's uncharacteristically high downloads. And I don't know why exactly, except that I'll just say that I'm happy about it. So thanks for that. Thanks for listening to that. Sorry that Tyler's microphone was a little buzzy for the second half. Hopefully it didn't drive you crazy and you had to turn it off. That was not his fault. That was mine. My equipment is a bit iffy. One of my microphone cables is a $15 piece of junk from Guitar Center, and I really need to just, use some Patreon money and maybe buy a real microphone cable so we don't have that. We're all about audio fidelity over here as much as possible. But yes, last week, where was I going with that? Well, yes. I released a new short story called Poisonous Snakes of the Midwest. Weird title, great content. And I just wanted to say thank you to you guys who went and downloaded that thing. There was a good chunk of downloads. Hopefully most or all of you will read it at some point. And I just wanted to tell you thank you for reading my fiction work, because I know that that's kind of outside the realm of Ink and Echo itself. But I appreciate you taking the time to do that and supporting me in that way, because I do love to write. And, well, I love having written. The process itself, kind of tedious sometimes. But when something is done, it's complete, and it's ready to share, man, that's a good feeling. So thank you for that. And you might find it's kind of strange. It's a weird story. One friend called it sadistic, or that it had sadism in it. Not referring to me, but the character for sure. And I find that it is helpful for me to write characters that are crazier than me, or more depraved or more demented, or just, dark thoughts exist in this head, and it's helpful to strain those through fictional characters. That isn't to say that I myself want to go do heinous acts, but this is a dark, strange world, and as a type 4 on the Enneagram, I tend to think about those dark, strange things a whole lot. And it's not good to let them get stuck up in there, in the old brain pan. Got to get them out, write those demons onto the page. Let me give you guys an update on Cordial Kill. I won't dwell on this for a long time, but I know it has been a while since I've said anything. Probably last you heard, it was with the sound mixer. Let me tell you, that was 7 weeks ago. I've been keeping pretty particular track of this because I have a vested interest in the movie being done. Well, it's still with the sound mixer. And, I'm just going to share, this has been, again, another step of the learning experience. The guy, the gentleman, the fellow who is mixing the sound on Cordial Kill, the short film that I made back in October, he told me it would take 2 to 3 weeks to mix the sound, which, cool, that's fine. So, I gave it to him, delivered it, so to speak, back in May, towards the end of May, and 3 weeks passed, and just sent him a friendly follow-up, just like, hey, man, how's it coming? I didn't allude to the fact that the end of his personal given deadline had landed. What am I trying to say? And so he responded and said, hey, yeah, I've started on it. And went on to say, when would you like it done? And see, now let's just stop there. And we unfortunately don't have Andy on the mic to combat my craziness. So you'll just have to kind of ride with this. But he's not getting paid for this. That's the thing. I might have said that before. He did production sound on the 3 days of shooting. He got paid $600 for that, which is a very handsome rate. And he did an amazing job, and that is worth, for sure, it was worth it. So that's that. He agreed to do the post-production sound for free. This he would ordinarily be getting paid probably over $1,000 for. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know. All this to say, in responding to him for a deadline, I was trying to be a good guy, and I said, well, hey, haha, I know you're not getting paid for this section and that you do, or this portion, and that you do have other work in your life to do. So I basically said, in the most gentle push as I could, as soon as possible, because festival submissions are happening now, and so I really need it soon. But also, I'm not going to give you a specific deadline because you're not getting paid, and I don't feel right about that. So, cool. That's fine. And he didn't respond to that, which, whatever, it didn't really need a response. But now we're getting to, now it's been 7 weeks. Now it's double plus a week of how long he said it would take him. And I'm, listen, I'll fully acknowledge I am a bit insane in that those very specific times and things that people tell me, I hold them to those, and I remember them very well. And I don't know if everybody does that. I don't know if someone, when quoting time for a given piece of work, if they're just throwing out a number that is meaningless, or if they intend to do it in that amount of time. I don't know. I don't know where this guy is at. But I was talking with Trevor on Friday night, and just kind of running it past him because he has years more experience in this industry. And I just said, hey, Trevor, what do you think about the fact that he's taken this long? I know he's not getting paid, but also he is the last piece holding back my movie from coming out. So how should I address this? And I explained what I had said in the email. And then Trevor said, yeah, you just need to give him a deadline and don't even worry about it, because he said, in general, if I give him that much leniency of just oh yeah, I need it, but whenever you can get it done, in general, Trevor said people will take their time, possibly indefinitely. and that they've got other work and they'll just push it aside and be like, yeah, I'll get to it when I get to it. And so, I don't know. And it's no big deal. So all that to say, this morning, actually, I emailed the sound guy and I said, hey, I would love to see this done by the end of July. There's some important festivals coming up in August. Can you please get it to me? And I was cool about it, but I was also firm. And, I know I've talked before on this show about communication or responding with emails and texts and just expectations and all that. And I will fully admit that I am I'm almost surely more intense about those things than I need to be. And believe it or not, through the course of this show over the past year, I have loosened up a lot. I've eased back on the reins and just kind of tried to roll with the flow a little more, because there's no value in dwelling on those things and getting frustrated and upset. But it is just curious to me that I hold people to what they say, like I mentioned earlier, and I personally try to hold myself to a standard of, in any given situation where I'm doing something for someone, whether I'm getting paid or not, and if I give them an amount of time or an expectation, as within every inch of my power, I will deliver that on time, because I view that as tied to my personal integrity, and my name is attached to it, or whatever it may be, and I want to live up to what I've said I'm going to do. Like, that's the simplest way to summarize it. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And, I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm not trying to say that I'm better than other people or that I have higher standards or something. But it is just weird to me, because I keep coming up against, specifically with creative people, again and again on these projects where you're relying on another person to be the end touch, the finishing touch, and complete it. Time and again, my expectations, or the expectation that was given to me out of their own mouths has fallen through, and they've failed to do that on time. And basically almost every creative project I've ever been a part of that involved other people, it's gotten pushed back. It's taken longer than it needed to, I think. And, I know life circumstances happen and people get interrupted or they have work that they have to do for their job or whatever it may be. But I guess where I'm just going with this is, I want to be a person of integrity, and it does bother me more than I wish it did, that I feel like at times other people do not have a great deal of integrity. And, as life goes on, I think I'm going to just keep having to chill out about that. And that doesn't mean I set aside my own standards, but I have to just have a little grace for other people and chill out. And I am learning too, in communication, you can be forward, you can be even strongly worded and insistent without being a dick, without being harsh or rude or like yelling at them in the form of email or text or whatever it may be. And it's just, I don't feel the need to go yelling at people for when they don't finish things, because on some level, I want to end a project with a person still liking me and wanting to work together again, perhaps. But it's funny. That's not the right word, but it's funny to me how often this has happened. So I don't know. If you're a creative person, if you're working with other people on projects, if you're collaborating, like, just be mindful of that. At least be aware of it if you're not already, and perhaps you are. But just, follow up on what you say you're going to do. Shit. Shouldn't be that hard, If I'm honest, that is how intensely I think about it. But also, I need to calm down. And I'm pretty sure if Andy was on the mic, he would be telling me to calm down. But Andy and I operate differently. It's fine. It's good. It's why we're good friends, because we're real different. We challenge each other in good ways. Okay, moving on. I'm going to share with you guys some correspondence. This could be almost like the internet comment section, sort of, except it's on my end and it's on Andy's end. But I'll share with you what was sent to me in a Twitter message. And this was the first time that I felt like I got a taste of the negativity that Andy comes up against online far more often than I do, because his following is greater and he just has more people interacting with what he does. And so therefore more people giving commentary on it. So this is a message from some person I don't know. Their username and their picture are not of a person, so it's impossible to know who they actually are, which is fine. I'm not, whatever. So this is in regards to the Bradley Hathaway episode, and sort of speaking to the harshness, perhaps, in some people's perceptions of his album Flesh Eater, which is about sex and all that. So here's the message, quote, "I listened to the podcast. Here is what you are selling with it. I listened to it, and it was not anointed. Just come out and say you hate Jesus by the company you keep. You act like a baby when you grew up in the church because it was too hard for you, and now you are lashing out at the church because you hate it. You are of the devil. There is nothing to change my mind." And so in this message was a very graphic picture of numerous grown men having sex with each other, like a homosexual orgy picture, and someone had photoshopped in all these flames of hell surrounding them, and then this really corny illustration of apparently Satan's face in the middle. And it said, oh gosh, I already deleted the message, so I can't remember what it said, but it was basically like, give glory to Satan in the lust of your homosexuality or something, which, I mean, there's a lot going on here to pull apart. The first would be why, and here's the other piece. He tweeted, this person, and I would encourage you not to seek this out, because it's vulgar, and maybe Andy and Bradley have deleted these anyway, but so he sent that message to me privately, but then he tweeted Andy numerous times with pornographic gay images. He tweeted Bradley, and he tweeted our Ink and Echo account. So he ran the gamut. He made sure he hit all the bases, and his tweets to them were along the same lines. But the weird thing to me is that at no part in the entire episode, the conversation with Bradley Hathaway, did we talk about homosexuality, about being gay. So why, I mean, first of all, weird that he's sending porn images, but why gay porn? It's like, that doesn't make any sense. But also, this is coming from someone who presumably is on some twisted level thinking that they are upholding some standard of righteousness, or fighting for, who knows, God or the church or something. But every tweet and message was such an attack, just absurd. It didn't make any sense. He was accusing us of things that we haven't done, and saying things like "get out of the church," and anyone with half a brain, whether you're a Christian or not, that talking to people like that from a vantage point of being in the church and saying "get out" because of this supposed unrighteousness and sin that you're doing, that's not how Jesus would have talked to anybody. So he's already kind of breaking his own standards there. But this got me thinking, I mean, I wasn't offended or hurt by any of this, because he's just, he or she, I don't know, is just so wildly off their rocker. And to feel the need, I mean, possibly to the point of mentally unstable, or, got some issues going on there, delirious, whatever it may be. But it just, I don't understand the religious zealotry, if that's a word, going on there. And I was going to say, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It doesn't bother me because I know he's so completely wrong. And there's, at least in this case, no benefit to responding to any of that. I just blocked him and deleted the message and whatever. It's fine. But it did get me thinking, okay, what does trouble me and what is a little concerning and even scary on some level is this is a person who, well, basically you just never know who's listening to you. And with Ink and Echo being at the small level that it is, the amount of downloads, which I won't say, but just out of the span of people that we have, guaranteed there's some batshit crazy people listening to our show, or at least folks that we wouldn't necessarily want to meet in real life and go get coffee with and have a conversation with. And that's a weird thought, because the larger any given thing grows on the internet and in social media, the more people you're reaching, the more people have access to you. And it just made me realize, oh man, okay, that here's an aspect of that is not good at all. And I don't know, different people view it different ways. Some people are like, screw it. It's no big deal. It's pretend. Someone's just being a troll, or they're crazy and they'll go away. But, my mind tends to take it a little further and fear that, I don't know, that I'm going to have some in-person interaction someday with one of these crazy people who like our show, but their brain's a little, it's a little not okay in there. Like they probably need some help. So I don't know, for what that's worth. It was interesting. That happened just this morning that I saw all those messages, and I kind of feel bad that Bradley got mixed up in all that, but I'm sure he's seen worse or gotten that sort of thing before. But golly, the internet brings the crazies out of the woodwork. I know that's been the case for a long time, but that was my first true taste of it. So, wow. No good. Don't tweet people gay porn with satanic messages. It's so ridiculous. My goodness. Okay, well, on that note, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Just a nice, short and sweet episode 50. It goes down easy. It's like some frozen yogurt from TCBY. Are they open anymore? I don't know. I haven't had it in years. There used to be one next to Cece's Pizza in Albuquerque. Hey, but next week, Andy will be back. And let me tell you, we got some good guests coming up. I am tempted to tell you who they are, but it's more exciting if it's a surprise. But I'm real excited. One guy in particular, oh man. Seriously, I've wanted to talk to him for many years, and he agreed to come on the show. So that'll probably be in a couple weeks. Fuck it. I'm just going to tell you. Josh, you and your secretiveness, I've always been all about presentation. So I like to hold things back for as long as possible to present them at the perfect moment for maximum excitement. But forget it. So who I'm so excited to talk to is Andy Hull from Manchester Orchestra. Little Mermaid soundtrack status excitement for me anyway. Andy Outhing, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't listen to Manchester Orchestra. Never has. He didn't grow up with little kids in the park playing Wolves at Night on an acoustic guitar, but I did, and it's exciting for me. He's been a big inspiration lyrically and musically and all that. So he'll be great. That's coming in a few weeks. We're still scheduling with his people. And listen, the reason I hesitate to say anything is because it's like, well, what if it falls through? What if he cancels? What if a lot of things? But, lighten up, Josh. Just screw it. Okay, and we're also going to talk to Ryan O'Neill of Sleeping at Last, and that should be pretty cool. So there you go. Spoiled it. Boom. Suckers. Those are coming up. Man, rolling cha-ching, throwing change, throwing it on the gamble table for all the gambles. But you can be sure that we're going to get Andy back. We're going to get some the stories from the road of the Slow Spaces tour. And you'll hear perhaps why he's not on this episode today, the very specific reason why not. And listen, there's going to be lots of lovable, huggable treats from your boys, the good boys, from Josh and Andy, your old pals. Just a couple of soft little lambs that you can just pick them up and hold them. Don't do that. Okay, I'll get out of here. Thank you all so much for listening to And Can I Go, the podcast. Gains out. That would be so dumb if that was my sign out. No, not doing it. Bye-bye.